Welcome to the NBA Triple Double Show, powered by SportsMemo. I am your host, Ronald Cabang, also known as UCapper, on SportsMemo.com and on Twitter at U_Capper. As you can see, I'm still still kind of congested here, a little bit sick, but we're gonna get through this. We got 3 games on this big slate today that we're gonna be talking about. I do want to talk about some promos before we break down those games, though. First one, Sport 50, $50 off any 30-day package from your favorite sports memo handicapper. That's any of the individual sports or the all access. I definitely recommend the all access there, just because most of the sports memo handicappers do cap multiple sports. Just myself, college football, basketball, NFL, NBA, all of that stuff. With all the handicappers doing so well right now, I think all access would be the best way to go to use this specific promo. Sport 50, $50 off any 30-day package. And our second promo, college football bowl all access, just $149. That's all the bowl season games here for $149 from your favorite college football cappers there. There's a few of them there that's been killing it in college football. Just definitely check out the website, sportsmemo.com, after the show. Snatch up some of those deals, all right? And also, before you head over there, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And so that that's going to help us a lot as we move forward with this show and all these other shows that are popping up. I know we have another NFL show coming up over at 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So, yeah, definitely hit the like and subscribe button before you go. Now it's time to talk about the games here. Let's bring Matt in here. Matt, what's up, man? How's everything going? Yesterday was Thursday night football. We only had one game in the NBA. Did you have anything going on?
Yeah, yesterday. So I had 2 plays going on in the NBA yesterday. Went 1-1. We had Luka's assist prop, which went over, and I actually was one of those that was on the Mavericks yesterday, which did not go so good for me. I thought the Mavericks defense would help to slow that Pistons team down, but I also wasn't really expecting Jaden Ivey to play. I like taking my plays, like me and you've talked about, more towards midnight, 1 a.m. the night before, hoping to get some line movement, and I did. I got a point of closing line value. Did not matter as the Pistons won that one outright, but went 1-1 and then went 2-1. Had a 4-unit best bet play on the Buffalo Bills first half, which smashed. That was nice. And so yeah, all in all, pretty good. And on the week, I am now 4-4, 8-6 with the NBA, up around 7 units. So all in all, pretty solid.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Yesterday, just one play yesterday was a college basketball game. Got UCLA -6. They ended up winning by double digits, I believe. So,
Okay.
Sort of like a non-sweat bet and much needed on a Thursday night, especially when I'm sick. Don't want to stress out even more. But all right, well, let's get into the games today. Raptors Nets is the first one here. Raptors 11-10 coming off an 18-point loss to the Pelicans in New Orleans. This is the first leg of back-to-back road to home games for them, though. So there's some travel involved in this game here, or actually going into their next game here. Nets 12-11 on a 3-game winning streak. They've actually won 6 of their last 8 games. This is their 4th of a 7-game homestand as well. So they've been chilling at home for quite a while now. They have a bit of a look ahead here, though, with the Celtics on deck. From an injury perspective, Otto Porter, Precious Achiuwa are out for the Raptors. Watanabe and Ben Simmons are out for the Nets. And Daron Sharp is questionable. I'll start this one off here. To me, I think I think the Raptors here are looking at somewhat of a quick revenge. They just played each other on the 23rd. Nets took that one 112-98. For me, I think I'm going to focus more so on the total here. Nets are 3-7 to the under as home favorites this season. 6 of the last 7 Nets home games have gone under by a decent margin as well. Nets 5-2 to the under when facing teams with a winning record. Another trend here, 10-3 to the under against conference opponents, regardless of the site, home or road. So a lot of different situations here for the Nets here pointing towards the under. Both matchups between these two teams have gone under so far this season as well. Looking at the last 5 game stats, both squads top 7, in the defensive rating category, both in the bottom third of the league in pace. So very slow, slow paced defensive minded game to me in this one. I don't agree with the total because I think it's going from 223 to 224 now. I strongly lean towards the under. I pretty close to making this a premium play here, but right now it's just a strong lean. What are your thoughts on this one, Matt?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with your under move there. I really do enjoy that because with the Brooklyn Nets right now, or the entire season, they go the way that Kevin Durant goes. And when facing Kevin Durant, one thing that is very key is having long, lengthy defenders that can, you can get in his face a little bit and try and mess up his shot. I know Kevin Durant is one of those guys where if he's feeling it, you really can't stop him. But a team like the Toronto Raptors actually does have some long, lengthy defenders who can move their feet very well. Guys like OG Anunoby is a longer defender. Scotty Barnes, one of the best defenders in the league, running that power forward position. I'm sure he will be matched up against Kevin Durant a lot. And then one key guy who's come back is now Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam is also another long, lengthy defender. He moves very well. So one thing with this Toronto Raptors team that they have available is the switchable ability. When Kevin Durant or when they run the pick and roll at the top of the key, like Kevin Durant likes to do and take that mid-range jumper, this Toronto Raptors team actually has the ability to switch very well and stay on Kevin Durant and keep defenders in his face. So because of that, I love that underplay, the under 223.5. Like you said, this is going the opposite way. Sometimes you just kind of want to wait until tip-off if you're going to go under, and the public might keep hitting this number and keep jacking it up. So this might be something that I'm going to wait on. And I'm kind of with you. It's very tough for me to pick a side here. When Toronto is on the road or on a road trip, I always like to fade them for the most part because, leaving Toronto, that travel distance, all that, going on a different country, I think that can be a little tough for a team. But, a team like the Brooklyn Nets as well, they're 7-4 at home. They haven't been that outstanding. And I do understand that they've had injuries early in the season, and now they do have a complete roster, with Seth Curry's back in that 2-guard spot, Kyrie Irving back in that 1, Royce O'Neal been playing some good basketball, and then they finish it out with Durant and Claxton. But, it's one of those spots where, yes, 7-4 at home. They've won 3 in a row. This is a Raptors team coming off a loss. And, was that loss because, they're getting all their players back in that lineup and they got to find that synergy again and team consistency, stuff like that. So I do see this potentially being a Raptor spot as well. So for me, I'm going to lay off of the side like you were saying. And I really enjoy this total as well. That's something that I was looking at last night. And if this number continues to go up, I will definitely be going under and making this official play like you were saying.
Yeah, another thing to note too, without Ben Simmons in the lineup, the Nets are 5-1 to the under, and that one game that went over only went over by 1.5 points. So a lot of the things that are, to me, especially trend wise, are pointing towards this under here. Definitely like this one. I'm really strongly leaning towards it. It might end up being a premium play here.
Yeah, and one last point that I had that I forgot to mention is these are two of the slower teams in basketball. You look at the Brooklyn Nets and you don't think they're going to be that slow, but the Nets are actually the 25th pace team in all of basketball, and the Raptors are 24th. With the Raptors, it could pick up a little bit with Pascal Siakam. He's one of those guys who likes to get the ball and go, but he's also a very good defender. So it could equal out, when defending the other side, someone like Kevin Durant, something like that. So I'm with you. I really do love that underlook.
Yeah, definitely like it. All right, well, I think we have a good eye on that game there. So next up, we got the Sixers and Grizzlies here. Sixers 12-10. They're coming off a 28-point loss to the Cavs on the road. They did win 3 straight prior to that, but 2 of them were against the shorthanded Magic team. So not sure how much we can take from those games. Grizzlies are 12-9, coming off an 8-point loss to the Catless Wolves. This one is a 1-game homestand though, and typically one of those situations that I like to fade when they go on the road for a couple of games, then come home for 1 game, then go back on the road. They head out to Detroit up next. So not much of a look ahead, but also it's just that little travel spot that's really funky. From an injury perspective, Sixers are going to be without Harden, Maxey, and Springer. Tobias Harris at this point is questionable. I believe I saw a report earlier right before the show that he didn't go to shoot around either. So if that's a sign, then he's probably going to be more doubtful than probable. For Memphis, Green, Zaire Williams, and Desmond Bane continue to be out for those guys. This one's tough, right? Because I see different angles for both, right? Because just a fade spot here for the Grizzlies on that the 1-game homestand situation, but this is the 7th game in 11 nights for the Sixers here. And the Grizzlies are just playing their 5th game in the same exact amount of nights, 11 nights. So fatigue might play a factor for the Sixers squad in this game here. But I think again I'm gonna be looking towards the under more so than the side here. Sixers 5-2 to the under without Harden and Maxey in the lineup. Grizzlies 5-3-1 to the under without Bane in the lineup. So it's just a lot of offense missing from both of these guys here. Both of these teams here. Philly plays a very slow pace, even more so without Harden and Maxey for sure, and Embiid in the lineup, kind of being the lead guy there. And they're a very strong defensive team, regardless. Though third in the league in defensive rating on the season, I would actually, yeah, I think I would look towards the under in this one. Maybe a slight lean towards Philly. I have noticed that they've been doing well on the road, especially on the second game. At least their second game on the road in a row. They're 5-0 against the spread in those situations. My assumption is that maybe the books are just over adjusting the line there to the home team because of the travel situation. But I'm probably going to stay away from the side there and maybe look more closely towards the under. Matt, what's your thought on this one?
Yeah, so once again, on this game, we are together on the under, but we are opposite on the side. You know, for me, I'm going to be with the Memphis Grizzlies on this side here, and I actually do stand behind that -5. You know, one thing I will say as well is I do have a 3-team parlay that is an official play over on SportsMemo tonight, and the Memphis Grizzlies are one of the legs in that parlay. So I do like the look here, and I do think that the Memphis Grizzlies are just simply a bad matchup for the Philadelphia 76ers. You know, when you have someone like Ja Morant who likes to get that ball, go up the court as fast as he can, get that rebound, book it up there. And then when you have the 76ers who have someone like Joel Embiid, who obviously is very strong on the offensive end, but in transition, he has been a player that you can take advantage of if you're a team that's fast and likes to get up and down that court. You know, the Philadelphia 76ers are the 27th team in terms of pace of play throughout the NBA this season, and the Memphis Grizzlies come in at 12th. So, you know, that's actually a little higher than in the past when, you know, last year the Memphis Grizzlies were top 10 basically the entire season. And I do think some of that has to do with Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane is another guy, when he's in the game, he gets that rebound, books it up the court, and, you know, they're just a fast team. But another thing that I see in this game is the matchup between Steven Adams and Joel Embiid. You know, Steven Adams is one of those big bodies that is very tough to move on the defensive side of the basketball. You know, he's one of those guys who he can stand his ground against Joel Embiid. He can get hands up against Joel Embiid. And with this 76ers team right now, if Joel Embiid doesn't score 30 points, I don't think they cover the spread. You know, they have nice guys like Shake Milton, who's definitely stepped his game up. DeAnthony Melton, who might have a little revenge factor here because he did come from Memphis. He's another guy who's been stepping his game up. But without Tobias Harris, too, I think that could be a pretty key piece that they could be missing, and someone like Jaren Jackson would be able to take advantage of that. You know, right now, the Philadelphia 76ers don't exactly have that true tall power forward. They run PJ Tucker, you know, who is very nice defensively, but to someone like Jaren Jackson, he would be giving up some length. So because of that, I really do like the look of the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. I think they're the faster team coming back home. Memphis is a very tough place to play. I believe they're 9-1 there on the season, something along those lines. Haven't lost too many games at home. And then the Philadelphia 76ers are okay on the road. I just see this as a solid Memphis spot. I think the defense actually of Steven Adams can help to limit Joel Embiid. And because of that, I'm going to roll with the Grizzlies here.
What do you think from a prop perspective here with Memphis? Kind of like you mentioned, Steven Adams is a hard guy to move in the paint. And obviously, I think I haven't looked at Embiid's rebounds numbers, but I would think an under would be the play there for Embiid rebounds. I think in his last game, he only had like 6 rebounds or something like that.
Yeah.
And when you have Jaren Jackson and you have Steven Adams there, I don't know. I feel like that he would be boxed out pretty well. He won't get the rebounds, and the rebounds might go over to either PJ or some of the guards here. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And that's one thing that when you're watching these basketball games, definitely pay attention to how big body centers go against other big body centers, because someone like Joel Embiid or someone like Steven Adams, who's always attacking the rebounds, sometimes they're so good that all the centers will do is focus on the box out. So then someone like Jaren Jackson can come in and get that rebound, or someone like PJ Tucker can get that rebound, because their main focus is keeping Joel Embiid off the boards, or opposite with Steven Adams. So I really do like that look. And when they're facing a team, like say Joel Embiid is facing a team with a smaller center or something along those lines, then that's the spot that I'm going to take Joel Embiid generally, because when the bigger body centers are in there, they generally occupy each other, and then the guards get it, the power forwards, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Another thing too, from a prop perspective, is if Tobias Harris is out, maybe a look at Niang in his threes prop.
That's a great look.
That's what I was thinking.
Look. I've gone against Yang when he gets hot a couple times, and you're like, well, this guy just stopped. He's one of those players. He's a spark plug, man. He can like when you see one or two of his go in, you're like, oh, if you're on the opposite side, it's like, oh shit, man, this guy's just making these, you know.
All right, well, last game up then, Bulls and Warriors. The Bulls 9-12 on the season, coming off a 19-point loss to the Suns in Phoenix. This is their 5th game of a 6-game road trip. Kings up next, so this was a pretty tough road trip for these guys, especially here on the West Coast. Warriors 11-11, I believe. They're coming off a loss as well. That loss against the Mavs on Tuesday was by 3 points. They have won 5 of their last 7 games though altogether. Most of the wins are coming at home though. Their offense is starting to pick up a bit. This is the first leg of back-to-back home games though. So some different scenarios, like kind of a play on or play against on the Warriors side here. Looking at the injury report, nothing new for either team. Lonzo Ball out for the Bulls, Iguodala out for the Warriors. Other than that, pretty healthy. I don't know. This one, the Bulls, they've been struggling on the road especially against non-conference opponents. So here on the West Coast, 1-4 straight up, and 1-4 against the spread, 4-1 to the over in those games as well. They're losing by an average margin of 7 points, and I believe the line here is around 7 or 7.5, so it's pretty tight. Average combined score in those games, 239 points. Total is 237, so they're pretty close to what their averages are here in this line here. But when you look at the Warriors, I mean, they just been so strong at home, 9-1 straight up, 7-3 against the spread. Cover the last 5 straight at home as well. Average margin of victory in those games, 16 points. Average first half margin, 10 points. I would look towards the Warriors here in this one, just because of how well they do at home and how bad the Bulls do on the road. But this just seems like a large line for the Warriors to cover against a pretty good, I think maybe underrated Bulls team, just because of their record is 9-12. But I feel like they're a lot better than their record shows. They play a lot of tight games. I don't think they ever get blown out really. So I would say I would look towards the Warriors here in the first half versus the full game, just in case the Bulls kind of stick it out and cover the back door. What are your thoughts on this one, Matt?
Yeah, so for me, like it is one of those spots where you like keep looking at it and you're like you just don't know exactly what way to go. But for me, I'm gonna go with the Bulls here, and it's just for the fact that they're inconsistent on the road, but they can also take down anyone. The Bulls are one of those teams throughout the NBA where I can see them losing to the Orlando Magic one night, and then the next night I can see them going on the road and beating the Boston Celtics. They're just one of those squads, and it's tough to quantify that sometimes. But, when you have someone like Zach LaVine, when you have someone like DeMar DeRozan, I think you have the capability to be in any game. And when going against the Golden State Warriors, who, like you said, have been amazing at home, they've covered 5 games in a row, at some point that is going to halt. And at some point, some team is going to come in and make that tough for you. And I think it could be the Bulls tonight. This is a Chicago Bulls team that has gone on the road and beaten the Milwaukee Bucks. This is a Bulls team that has gone on the road and beaten the Boston Celtics, the Brooklyn Nets. So they are fully capable of going on the road and doing stuff like that. I do understand too, going to Golden State from Chicago can be somewhat of a tough road trip. But I mean, as we all know too, the Warriors are a team that, every team in the NBA gets up for. And, again, going back to guys like DeMar DeRozan, guys like Zach LaVine, those are 2 players where if they have one night or if they get hot, they can keep you in any game. And yes, Andrew Wiggins will be guarding probably DeMar DeRozan, and it's a tough guard. Andrew Wiggins is one of the better defenders, but then you have someone like Zach LaVine who's going to be potentially against Klay Thompson or being switched off of Steph Curry and stuff along those lines. And Klay Thompson has definitely lost a step this season, and especially on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end. And I think some guys like, Zach LaVine maybe could take advantage of that. What's Ayu Dasamya, or I forget how to say the name exactly, but he's been solid from the point guard spot as well, getting those two involved. And then you have Nikola Vucevic as well, rocking the center position. He can be someone who can stretch the court as well against the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors really haven't faced a center that can spread the court out to that magnitude and then give space potentially for guys like DeMar DeRozan and guys like Zach LaVine to slash to the basket. So, anytime you're going to give me 7 points with the Bulls, I understand that's on the road, but this team can beat and cover against anyone. So for me, I actually am going to be with the Bulls +7 here. Not an official play for me or anything like that, but I am definitely a little flirty to it. I will say that.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just more so how the Warriors do at home versus on the road. It's just such a huge split. It's hard to kind of go against them at home in this specific situation, especially with the Bulls already traveling here on the West Coast for such a long period of time. But yeah, that's the way that I would look at that one. Man, anything from a prop perspective on that game?
Honestly, Zach LaVine's going to be someone I'm looking at, because like we talked about, I think that switching ability from Klay Thompson to Steph Curry and stuff like that, they're going to have to space this court out because I think Vucevic is going to hang out a little more at the 3-point line. And when you give someone like Zach LaVine the ability to slash to the basket, I think that's where he can be most dangerous. You know what I mean? So I am going to be looking at Zach LaVine. And honestly, man, Steph Curry has been so hot. Like I look at him every night, and I'm the type of better player prop guy where if you're hot 5 nights in a row, I'm like, all right, this is probably going to be your off night. And then I keep thinking Steph is going to have an off night, and he just keeps balling,
Yeah.
So, and like, even what we were talking about, like, you were kind of like the Warriors are so hot at home. I'm kind of the type where I'm like, okay, they've been so hot at home, they're due to regress a little bit. So that's like what's so great about like me and you breaking it down on the show too, because we both have different angles, just like any better.
Yeah, I think Vucevic too at the center position versus the Warriors would probably be a good look as well.
Yep.
Probably going to get a lot of opportunities for offensive rebounds and putbacks and stuff like that, just because of I don't trust any of the bigs over in Golden State right now. So yeah, that's the way that I would look to as far as a prop perspective is Vucevic maybe and his points props, because I think Golden State gives up a good amount of points to the center position from what I know. Yeah, I think that's it. So that it's time for best bets and premium plays. Or what do you got going on the premium side, Matt?
Yeah, so on the premium side right now, I already have, I believe, 3 NBA plays locked and loaded. Going to be hitting this Friday slate pretty good. This weekend, we have the UFC as well. So I got some UFC plays loaded. And then, of course, we got the NFL. So last night, I was really just working away on getting some articles going, going to get some packages going for everyone as well. I honestly might do like a weekend all-inclusive package with every single sport, because there's going to be a lot of good stuff to bet on this weekend. Like I was saying, the UFC and the NFL, there were some early lines that I already jumped on. I really liked. So I think there's going to be some good opportunity this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm excited for the UFC. I know it's not going to be 282 type hype, but there's still some good fighters in that the upcoming one. Tai Tuivasa, right? I think he's good. I like him. He's just a cool personality, I think, and that's why I cheer for him. But we'll see how he does. But for me, best bet on today's show, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go against you on something. It's the Warriors first half here. Warriors they just been too strong for me at home, and specifically in recent games in the first half. 5-1 against the spread at home against teams with a win percentage of 40% or more. Also 7-1 on the first half spread at home when favored by 3.5 or more, and they're favored by 4 in this situation. They just get the job done here, but I do want to stay away from the full game. I do have the Bulls are one of those teams that kind of, the Bulls and the Clippers, man, they come back and take care of business in the second half a lot of the times here when you don't expect them to. So even if they're down double digits at half, you can't really count them out, especially when it comes to the spread and the spread being so high at 7. So I'm gonna avoid the backdoor cover here by the Bulls, or that opportunity for the Bulls to cover the backdoor, and just take the Warriors first half. Something that's been hitting for me and my clients as well. I think this is the third time doing it with the Warriors first half, and hopefully this is the third time we cash with it in the last few weeks. So that's going to be my best bet here. I think I'm going to have 2 or 3 more NBA plays here for the rest of the slate. Nothing in the college basketball today. Probably tomorrow, and then I think Matt, are you in the NFL show later?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna be in the NFL show together later
Still
at
hanging
1 o'clock. Man, we got a lot of stuff going on a Friday night. But that is it for the show. Best bets in. I think we
still got mine.
down the games. What was that?
I still got to do mine.
Oh, wait, I thought you did. All right, yeah, do yours. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, it's all good. So for my best bet on the show, we are going back to my boy Devin Booker. Devin Booker, we kind of hit the start of his hot streak when he had that 44-point game. Most recently, he had a 51-point game. And guys, I usually like taking it when guys have been missing games and spots. But for Devin Booker, I just think he's too hot, and he could potentially go on a couple-game roll here. His over-under is at 28.5 points, so I'm rolling with that over here. Again, like I was saying, he's hit 2 in a row, hitting 44 points, 51 points. But over those 2 games, he is shooting 37 for 53. Okay, shooting an incredibly high percentage, and he hit this 51-point game in only 3 quarters, which is actually insane. Now he's going on the road, or they're at home facing the Houston Rockets. As we know, the Houston Rockets play very, very little defense, and the key in this game is going to be, can the Rockets stay in it long enough for Devin Booker to hit this number? And honestly, I say yes. This Phoenix Suns team is still missing a good amount of players. They're missing key guys and Chris Paul, which might also have a little distraction going on if you've been on Twitter. So that could be something too. Chris Paul is going to be out. Cam Johnson is going to be out. So once again, this is going to be a matchup that is focused on Devin Booker and what he can do, and a lot of the time too, like we saw the Phoenix Suns blow out their last game. And a lot of that was because Devin Booker had 51 points in 3 quarters. And when the Suns do blow teams out, a lot of it has to do with Devin Booker. Not gonna lie, DeAndre Ayton is in a very good spot here as well. But looking at Devin Booker's matchups, I talk up Jalen Green all the time. I love Jalen Green, but I love his offensive side. Defensively, he's one of the top 10 worst defenders throughout the NBA with a 120 defensive rating. Again, to put that in perspective, Bojan Bogdanovic is currently the worst in the NBA with a 122 defensive rating. So Jalen Green is not far behind. And then if he gets switched, Kevin Porter Jr. is one of the worst defensive players throughout the NBA in terms of ratings. So this is another great spot for Devin Booker to come in and take advantage. Last game, he also shot 6 out of 7 from 3. So again, really finding his shot. And I just think this is a spot where he's going to keep it going. Earlier in the season, he had 30-plus points in 3 games in a row. Last year, he did this multiple times as well. So he's one of those guys where once he catches a groove and sees that ball go in the bucket, he tends to keep it rolling. So because of that, I think Devin Booker is shooting at too high of a percentage, and I think this game stays close enough, long enough for Devin Booker to hit over this number. We missed De'Aaron Fox, ruined the best bet streak, so we're looking to start another one here, starting with Devin Booker over 28.5 points.
Yeah, I think these Devin Booker looks on your best bets have been hitting like crazy.
Yeah, he's been killing it.
Hopefully we just keep going with that one. Shout out to Star Child in the chat there. I know we're gonna be going the opposite directions, but you're my boy. I see you in the chats all the time.
Oh hell yeah!
One of us is gonna win, Bulls first half or the Warriors first half. We'll see each other though. Yeah, with that said, man, I think that's it for the Friday edition of the NBA Triple Double. We'll see you guys on Monday. Good luck on all your action until then. Peace.